Oh, ladies and gents, it's been way too long since I've spoken to you. A good 15 hours or something crazy. It's so long, I know. Imagine what off season is going to be like. I'm going to miss you guys like crazy, that's for sure. But you obviously, all of you, are going to have to come in and listen to the BBL Supercoach content. Come on, guys, you can do that. I played NBL as well last year. I'm going to talk a little bit about that in the off season too. So let's get excited about all of that. We do have 8 rounds to go, and we are past all of the big buy rounds now. We're into round 20, the last of the minor buys, with 3 teams out. The Dragons, we also have the Sharkies, and we also have the Eels. So 3 fairly fun teams for some certain, a certain amount of players there. And we'll get into that in a second once we have to work out my side coming into this week with injuries and as such. But I did end up obviously changing my trade there, and Max King went out instead of Weeks, along with, to bring in Olakau'atu and then to bring in Jai Gray as well. So that worked out okay with Gray, better with Gray than it did with Olakau'atu, but a 51 for Cook was fine. Plath low. Willison was one of my best scorers of the week, sadly, but that was great on his front. We had both Fainu and also Galvin lose 5 points in this morning's downgrade. So I understand the Fainu one. He was on 44. They pushed him up to 49, then back to 44. I don't know what's going on there. And then Galvin was on 48 for a long time, and then just down to 43 there. But the lows of my week, obviously plus 35 there. We had Olakau'atu a little bit under what we would have hoped, but not the worst in the world. Aiken with 5, Greg Mazu with 16. The rest of the guys are pretty good there across the board. It was 48 plus, 43 with Galvin, but 48 plus for everyone else there. And Garrick doing great things, surprisingly enough, at 614. No, he goes up, doesn't he? Where is he now? Garrick. No, 614. So did he lose money in the end after that? He's gone back-to-back really good scores, and he lost $1,000. So he's going to have a nice break even after these 2 really good games there. Obviously that, last 3 average is still not nice at 44 there after his knockout game a few weeks ago. So my team, we scored a 631. So a little bit underwhelming. Not happy with it personally. I did make some ranks, obviously, from 558 to 528, but I was hoping to be in the top 400 after this week. And we'll get to my head-to-head side shortly, but they beat me by about 140, 150. So that was the type of week I was hoping for here, but wasn't to be. And the head-to-head side had a cracker. Doesn't have Aiken for one, so that's pretty helpful, and has Colin Matangi captained, which is good. So we'll get to that in a sec, but overall rank of 528, still a really good spot, guys, and I did use my last 2 trades there. As I said, I traded King out instead, so that's one less guy I have to worry about, removing from my side, given he's going to be out for the 6 or so weeks. And 13 players, not too much else to say on the week that was, but going forward, I've mucked around with moving a few guys about. I do have Iro out and Aiken, definitely. Unsure if Greg will be out. Unsure if Trey Fuller will be out as well. But I have enough cover in clearly basically most positions there. It's wild how many dual position guys we've got. All my mids currently are dual. I have Gray, who's dual there. I have Karaz, Garrick, both dual. I have, Aiken was there. We've got Weeks and Wishart all dual as well. So I've got so many halves, so many wing fullbacks there as well. And I was hoping to get rid of one of them with Weeks and have King there sitting there. But unfortunately for him, he's down the dumps and out. So I will be bringing in a mid this week. That's for sure. And there's a few things to do. Like, Aiken could just go straight to Jack Whiten, who's playing really well and doing good things. I got 213 in the bank. I definitely won't be using 4 trades as much as that's exciting to do. I could do a lot with 213 in the bank and a few injuries to expensive guys and other 500k guys like Marzu and Weeks of 606 that I could be interested in selling for sure and getting a lot back for him. And when you've got guys like Starling in the cheap range that could be really helpful for your sides, gives me backup hooker spots. It's there's a lot of guys outside of that are very expensive that could be brought into our sides, and I can understand people looking at Payne Haas, looking at a Watson or an Isaiah Yeo, looking at Keon Kolomatangi, looking at Angus Crichton, looking at Cleary. Like, there's so many guys to look at this week and bring into your sides. It's it can be a little bit overwhelming with the amount of trades you've got now. You can use 4 if you want to, but with 8 weeks to go now. It's one per week for most people. If you're higher than this, if you're sitting at 10, 12, somewhere in that range, then it's sort of 1.5 a week, which is good. But anyone in my boat here with the 8 left now needs to be very strategic with their sells. And I do think, like as I said in the 5 things I learned, that we want to be looking to sell as many of these guys that are injured only rather than anyone with a bye. So pretty much all the guys that you'll have from the Dragons, from the Eels, and from the Sharks, I think you most likely can hold all of them. Someone like Brendan Hands, you could easily sell, sure, but he picked up 40 and 80 minutes on the weekend, and he could definitely do that after the buys. We don't know, right? He could come out and just be a 35, 40 guy, and it's like, well, you're trading down to someone at 300k. Why sell him at 400? Like it's that kind of thing. Madison likely to be fine. You've got guys like Moses, obviously Brown. You could obviously sell a Brown, that type of player, but they're a warm body. They're on the park. They're doing well enough. Like Brown got 56 on the weekend, which is cool, coming off a 39 or whatever it was. So it's not the end of the world. And points in this back end, the last 3 rounds, I think are going to be very scarce for people that have run out of trades. There will be injuries. There will be restings, and if you've got 21 warm bodies, I think that's going to be so helpful for you. Obviously, to loop with 1 or 2 players on a bye each week. You can loop between 19 players, and I think that's really, really helpful. And that will win out in the long run rather than having guys that aren't available there in that last 4 rounds or something like that. If you've got an injury and you're like, I'll just hold it. That strategy that I'm talking about, I think, is going to win out in the long run, because you look at the numbers, and if things go right, the cash downs and the guns strategy, which Don actually popped into the private group there. He did a good little analysis of that, and it comes out about 120 points better if you go for the top tier gun and do not play a DNP, so a guy that's not playing at all. So if you went Isaiah Yeo and a 230 guy that's not playing, it actually comes out about 120 points better across the back end of this season, because if you've only got a couple of players on bye each week plus that guy, you are fielding a full 17, and you've got another guy that can cover that lower score, so a 40 or something like that, and then you've got Isaiah Yeo to get a 60 instead of having 2 40s guys or 2 45 guys. It kind of works out a little bit better because you can cover that anyway, that second guy. But the issue is if you run out of trades and you have injuries, which eats into your 17 and then 16 and then 15 and going on from there. So 2 strategies to work out. Obviously, if you are in the boat of having 12 to 15 trades left remaining, you should be going for the guns and the cheapy non-player, or the cheapy guy that could score you a 20 or 30 in case of emergency in the back end of the season. And if you're in my boat, it could be more going for guys that you think have got longevity, probably have a safer injury history, and are doing good things. So there's a few things that I'll be looking to grab. Lots of players I'll be looking to grab this week, guys. But remember, we have Teamless Tuesday to come tomorrow. So don't, some people are asking, do I pick Haas or Yo? One of them could get injured in Origin. One of them could not get named to back up on Tuesday. They could be out of the 21. Wait until Team List tomorrow, and then wait until Origin. These weeks here, you shouldn't be... Well, you can, but it's a lot extra brain power, which you don't need to do if you're going through and making your trades early here, because then you go and one of those guys doesn't get named or whatever, and then you have to change your strategy, and you're a bit annoyed that you're like, I wanted that guy, I can't get him now, blah, blah, blah. It's a little bit frustrating. So just wait at least until team lists, and then you have your hit and hope list, basically. If someone plays 40 minutes in Origin, like a Yo, and you think he's going to back up and do well for Panthers, then maybe he's the guy on your list. All those types of things you need to think about, and you need to wait for, I think, there. So that's my side there. I was obviously hoping for a little bit more. We're still in a good spot. 101st last year, 528th, heading into 8 rounds to go. So hopefully should be able to improve a little bit on this, but how much we improve on it will just depend on a bit of luck and the guys that I pick this week, basically, and next week. Do we go for Cleary this week? Do you go for Haas instead of Watson, or instead of Cam Murray, or Mitch Barnett, or whatever you decide there, right? There's a lot of different question marks around those top tier guys, and then which mid-tier or cheaper guys do you slot in, and who gets rested across the season, who doesn't, all that type of thing is going to come into fruition. So that's my side there. We're going to check in on the Supercoach side of things now, and I was really hoping for a bigger week, and unfortunately it wasn't to be. Had a few injuries with Aitken, with Appy Coruscant, these types of players, but I made 484 ranks into 2,300 overall. Not terrible, but do still have 13 trades left. And what's crazy about all this is I actually, 2 of my trade-ins this week, I actually got tons. So you look here in the squad that I ended up playing there. I've changed a couple things around there, but Iro with the 78 was really, really good. I had Marzu and Aiken with 12 and 14, but I actually did bring in Jaden Campbell for 111 and Tom Trebojevic for 119. So that was awesome, and that really saved my week there. And what would have been really sad is playing 16 players and losing ranks. And if I didn't bring in Campbell and Trebojevic and sided with other options, I might not have made ranks. And I captained Garrick for 102, which was sweet. What about Fafita? They've got to sort this out, though. I don't rate the massive updates. We complained a little bit about it in fantasy with guys having a certain score and then it changes late and it changes some decisions with looping and the different things like that. Fafita was on 50, and then 2 days later he got upgraded to 76. So he went up something like 20 odd %, more than that. No, he increased by more than 50%. Wild how that one works out. But I brought in Ol Kawatu as well for a 73. He obviously got saved with that try. Plath got 60, Kaipis Paul 55. I had Willison, but not having like Ronaldo, not having a Johnston or like a Jack Whiten, these types of guys. A few people had like vice captaincy on like a Ronaldo, for example, there. So that helped them and kind of cooked me in this one. And then they had a Campbell and a Trebojevic or something like that as well. So that's my side and how I went. Still in a good spot. As I said, 13 trades remaining. I have to sort something out in my hooking position. Whether if Coruscant we reckon is going to be a couple of weeks, I'll hold him and I'll just get Tom Starling. But Starling I think is probably one I'll get anyway in this side, whichever one it is for Coruscant or Brayley. And that'll leave me with either sort of 70, 80k from trading Brayley to him if Coruscant's out for a short amount of time, or a lot of cash there at over 320k or something like that if I was to trade Coruscant. And then we've got some options across the board, but Campbell really helps things as a guy that we don't have to go out and chase. Turbo, people might chase this week as well, so to have Turbo and Teddy back there is really, really cool. Hopefully Val backs up. We've got Greg to worry about with his cork or whatever's going on there. Hopefully Garrick's all good. We're going to trade out Aiken. So really the injuries and the big important things to look at are Aiken and obviously Coruscant in that front. And then, Curran will come back into the starting side for Willison. We got Katoa to come back in. There's plenty of good players to come back in and have a game. Obviously, Jerome Hughes comes back in. And is it the time for Isaac Tungo to actually get a decent score here against the Dolphins? I wonder, especially if Cleary's back as well. So that's my side, and that's where we're at there. Let's go into the leagues there. And I moved into 4th in the private group there. Actually overtook the head-to-head side, which ended up with 877, and changed my captaincy at the end because I was going to get beat by my opponent, who's actually coming last, which is pretty tough. But they had Leo Hopewadi and Ronaldo and all these types of players, so I was never going to win that one. But both very close again, only 13 points apart, the overall head-to-head side. But shout out to Matt and Matthew, still up top there in the top 1,000. Adorable Rossi is in there, and just outside the 1,000 for the Lunatics. 1,700 for Dave, and then 2,300 for myself. So not the end of the world there, but was hoping for a little bit more. And into the Podmasters, I'm 29th out of 97, so not too bad overall there. Mark with the Barnstormers moved up 26 spots into 14th, so congrats to him. Brandon, the Savage Burbos there, 31st. We got Luke at 42nd, so 3 in the top 50 out of the podcast as well. David's at 125, and Des is in at 198. So very, very impressive there. Another 1,100 for him on that front. In terms of other guys we look at, Brian Sini, the NRL physio, had a massive week at 1,102, moved up 500 spots into 686. So good stuff for him on that one there. All right, who we got? Tim the Villiarmy's 979, not his best, but still made a couple of ranks there. And then we go down a little bit further. We'll check out Guru and Timmy. So Guru there went up 616 spots just inside the top 7,000, but 969 points for him. And Timmy struggling again, 888 lost ranks into 11,800, so it's not working out for him this season, and shows how much luck can be a factor, obviously, and captaincy picks and all the good stuff there. So that's the Podmasters overall, and the JB NRL community. Shout out to Brendan And Ollie and Jordan in the top 3 there, 112, 162, and 298 overall. So good stuff to those guys there. All right, let's move on to the head-to-head side for fantasy. So look at that round 19 rank, 240th, end up at 2769 overall, in a massive change from sort of 4 rounds ago. I was in at 11,000, moved into 8,600, moved into 6,687, moved into 4,776, and then into 2,769, all in a matter of a month. So big scores and good decisions have been made, obviously, in this side, which is great. Obviously, holding on to Campbell, bringing in White in a couple of weeks ago. This week. Bringing White in this week, with Colin Matangi captaining Colo, and ended up only 3 points better than Fafita. But really, the only misstep here was Plath this week at 35 and Ryan Madison with 30. Because Sipley's been good over the last couple of weeks and done good things. We've got, Nikra, brought him in a month or so ago, and he's been great in that time. Did pick up, I think, one of those smaller scores. Yeah, after the 50, I think. Got 50 first up and then 30 odd. But yeah, good from here. So 738. Going to be really, really helpful for checking out our leagues here, that's for sure. That's the one thing I forgot to go through in my team was the leagues. Whoops. Okay. Battle of the Podcast. I'm 4th now. The guys ahead of me were all very similar, around the either late 5s to mid 600s. Most people did. So I'm actually like 140 odd points behind the lead in that comp, which is cool. And I can get into the JB group in this one, which will be fine. I haven't gone through the top rankings either. So a few things I forgot, as always. Anyway, that's the side there. That worked out pretty well. We do have a bunch out this week. Blaze Talangi, Iro, Nikara, Madison, Hands, King. So six out. But I do have some trades remaining, which is cool. 1. So I have 9 with 130 in the bank. So I think at least a couple of trades this week just to get things sorted. I don't want to go too overboard, but let's just quickly check out the leagues now, because that's going to help us decide what we need to do in this team. So I moved into 9th in the Gargarov, which is good. So I need to get a win in there to get in the top 8. Into 3rd in Serrato Sucks. I'm still sitting at 4th in King's Cup. 1st in the League of Legends. 3rd in Liam's League. 5th in the Stade Dainty. 738, I won every league, basically. 5th in the Amateurs League now. 2nd in the Sweat Lobby. So really, really good spots across the board. And these two here, if I can get close to that top 4, that gives me a little bit of breathing room as well. So I think trying to get a win this week will be very, very helpful. That's for sure. And I actually moved to 5th in JBFA head-to-head. Oh, I'm a small chance? No. Yeah, I'm a small chance of making the top 3. No, I'm not. It's on points differential. Scratch that. But yeah, let's go to what I wanted to speak about was our overall private league. So what I was saying about yesterday there was that we had 4 guys in the top 50, and then Max is sitting there at 67th. We've got Liam in at 40th. We've got Mitch in at 37th. We've got Don at 29th. And we've got Bevan in at 19th. So congrats to those guys. It's been a big improvement this year in the private group. And a shout out to Richard, Hayden, Jack. Richard's just outside the top 100 there at 111th. Hayden, Jack, Nikki, and Shane. So they're flying the flag for us, for me and Scoop this year anyway, who finished very close to that top 100 last year. And just a big congrats to all you guys for doing great things there, that's for sure. Let's go to, while we're here, let's get into the rankings. Just a shout out to Peter, the Ethical Fantasy Squad. I believe Mark was saying this is his brother, Pete Jessup. So he's actually into 1st overall, which is pretty impressive. Mark needs to get up there himself now and rival his bro. But Pete up there, Matty B, Stuffy, Billy Slater, fair enough. Kushla has moved down to 3rd, unfortunately. Alex, Christian, Riley, and Kai in the top 7. So we're looking at, where am I at in the head-to-head? 27.69. Leaves us almost 900 points behind 1st there, which is, they've got it's pretty close, really, really close actually up top there. So 15,900. So top 50 there is sort of 250 points separating them, which is pretty cool. Makes sense. That's for sure. But team value, squad value, 13.39 compared to 13.8, 13.7, 13.6, 13.9. Yep, plenty of decent squad values. All seem very similar there as well. So there you go. That is, I think, everything I need to say on the head-to-head side. Really into next week, obviously got a few things to move around there. We've got Teddy that'll go in there for Talangi. We got centers. How many centers have I got? That's the big question. All right, we need to move one of our centers there. So Garrick, you're going to come out of wing fullback for Wishart. Garrick, you go in for Kale Arrow. Beautiful edge. Nickera, out you come. Shawnee Bloor, come back in. Madison, you can come out, please. Who comes in for you? That's the question. Cotter. And then Brendan Hands, we get Reed Marnie back. How good of an upgrade is that from Brendan Hands? So that leaves us with a bench of Weeks and Drinkwater. How good's that? So we need to, as I said, at least make 2 trades. It'll probably be 3 to be fair, to also make sure that we can get a win in those comps. And then it might be hold territory for a week or something like that, just to get us through. Obviously, those guys will come off their buys as well. And coming into round 21, Knights are on the buy and I don't have any in this side. So in that world, I can hold trades then in round 21 very easily, you'd imagine. Even if there was to be an injury to a bigger dog. At worst, 1 trade. And so six trades with 6 rounds left, I think would be pretty sweet going into the finals and head-to-head stuff there. So yeah, we'll see how things play out on that one. But let's move over quickly to the head-to-head side as a quick stop in, because I'm a little bit sad with what's happening. I won one of my leagues, the public league, that I don't care about as much. But 10 trades left, so 3 less than my overall side. Still in a good spot overall, but the big issue there was the fact that I lost my head-to-head there by a lot in the end. He had Lehigh Hopewadi and everything like that. He'd won 3 out of 18 matches, which is pretty tough. So I'm into 11th now in that comp and 9th in the other, and I've got a couple of weeks left, I believe, to get through. I think that goes to 2 more weeks, I think around 20 and 21. So I do need to go all in, because if I don't make these head-to-head comps, then this team doesn't matter. So I will need to go pretty hard over the next couple of weeks here. Used to a week there. I've got Coruscant, so I'll just switch out him for Reed Marnie, obviously. Terrell May and Adam Fanor Blank will be good to go there. I ended up changing my captain because my opponent had Garrick, so I was like, well, if Garrick goes low and Olakwatu goes 100 plus, I could win. Turns out Garrick went more, and then he had Hopewadi that got 120 something, so pretty crazy at that. But Porter, you will not be reserved this week, that's for sure. Brown, you'll come out for Hughes. Just using you guys as, if you're interested, this is what I end up doing. I haven't done it yet for the week. Jai Grayer came in and got 64. Teddy's already reserved for me, so that's nice of him. Blaze Talangi, you'll come out for Dom Young. I don't have Aitken in this side, and I still didn't perform that well. Iro, you're going to come out for Ethan Strange or Holmes. Well, it's going to be Holmes, obviously, if he backs up. But I do think Will Price is going to be out, so we might have to do a few things in this little spot down here in the center wing, that's for sure. But yeah, a few things to work out this week. We'll have to push pretty hard, that's for sure, and use those 2 trades for, I wonder what's going to be. Maybe have to be like a, Will Price or someone. It might have to be a cash down, and then we can upgrade from there, but we'll work that out, that's for sure. And yeah, it's really all I wanted to say about the head-to-head side. We need to win these next couple of weeks to get in the 8 at least and give ourselves a shot. If that means there's 6 trades left, then it means there's 6 trades left. Because if I don't make the finals, then there'll be no point playing the rest of the season. Because it's just a head-to-head winning squad, and that's what we're here for. So yeah, just a different strategy as always, and that's why I'm here to show that across, for you guys there, and to have something on it. So I'm actually invested in it. So there you go, 318k. That's going to help us. That's for sure. We might be able to just do double upgrade, which will be cool as well. We'll see how that one plays out. Might be worth having a crack at Nathan Cleary this week for Dylan Brown or something like that. We will can move Jai Gray down to fullback. We'll muck around with some things there if we want to sell like Will Price to get up to Cleary or something like that. We'll find that out. We'll work that out as we go. So thanks so much for being here for the results video, guys. You're all legends, and hope you didn't miss me too much across the 14 hours or whatever it's been. See you guys.